show you how great I am.
I'm gonna float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. I am the king of the world.
G5 Jeff TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, please share this video, support your boy, support good content at all times. All social media is in the description box, and please hit that bell icon so you can be notified when I drop that heat. Now, of course, in today's age, this is old news, but Danny Jacobs is the 160-pound IBF champion of the world. He defeated Sergey Derevyanko on HBO. It was a very highly competitive fight, and a lot of people had Danny Jacobs as the favorite going into that fight. And like I said, I know, news from a week ago was like old news now to people, but this is a couple things I just wanted to point out with this particular situation. Danny Jacobs winning the 160-pound title, the IBF title. I think it was great what he did, and I'm gonna tell you why. Number one, Danny Jacobs and Sergey Derevyanko shared the same trainer, Andre Rozier, and not only Andre Rozier, but Andre Rozier's whole team. So for the people that didn't know, Andre Rozier had to pick which fighter he was going to be the trainer for in this fight because he trains both of them, and he decided Danny Jacobs because he was with Danny Jacobs longer. But basically, a person that works in Andre Rozier's camp was the other guy that ended up training Sergey Derevyanko. So with those dynamics alone, it made it extremely difficult for Danny Jacobs to go into this fight, because not only does Andre Rozier probably had a best game plan for Sergey Derevyanko, because he trains him, but the guy that ended up training Sergey Derevyanko for this fight against Danny Jacobs knows a lot about Danny Jacobs because they're all in the same camp. So, I mean, it's one thing doing film study on a guy, but I mean, damn, like, you're fighting somebody that's in your same camp, you know what I'm saying? In your same camp, and has the same trainer as you. So the same principles that's being taught to Danny Jacobs by Andre Rozier is the same principles that's being taught to Sergey Derevyanko. And that's hard to overcome in the course of a fight. That's why that fight was so competitive. Now, would that fight have looked the same if both guys, were with different trainers? Maybe. That fight could have looked the same. But you can tell each guy knew what the other guy's weakness was in that fight. You can tell something with Sergey Derevyanko. I don't know if it's stuff that he's seen in camp, but the body work that he was putting in was some great body work. It was some great body work. And with Danny Jacobs, you seen him use the shoulder roll defense more in this fight than he did in other fights. And I think that's because Sergey Derevyanko is probably 3-4 inches shorter than Danny Jacobs. So you seen both guys doing things in the fight that they usually don't do, but I think they knew they could get away with it because they're so familiar with each other from being in camp. So I don't know too many fighters that can go into the ring with somebody out of their own camp and they know them so well and they know you so well. And for Danny Jacobs to be as successful as he was in that particular fight, and that goes for Sergey Derevyanko too, like it goes for both guys, like that's a difficult situation to be in. A lot of guys wouldn't even take a fight against somebody in their camp because they know them so well. They wouldn't take a fight with a guy that shares the same trainer because that trainer can give out all of your weaknesses. You understand what I'm saying? So the fact that they both took on this fight is a beautiful thing. And this is another point. Danny Jacobs took on the guy that Triple G declined to fight. Sergey Derevyanko was the guy that Triple G was supposed to fight. Sergey Derevyanko was the mandatory in the IBF for Triple G to fight. And Triple G turned it down. And that's why Triple G got stripped of the IBF title, which made the Sergey Derevyanko and Danny Jacobs fight for the vacant IBF title. So we have to give Danny Jacobs props for taking on the guy that Triple G didn't want to face. So when people talk about Triple G and is he ducking Jamal Charlo and this, that, and the third, I'm like, no, because Triple G has better options. It's the same for this situation. You don't fight Sergey Derevyanko when you got a Canelo fight lined up. So, and that was the time when Triple G was talking about unification all day. That's all he was talking about. Unification in Mexican style. That's all Triple G was talking about at that particular time. But even his team knew it wasn't smart to fight a guy like Sergey Derevyanko. He could have very well have lost that fight. And this is just a lesson for us boxing fans. When a guy is on the come up, they talking all types of shit. Like they want all the smoke with everybody. But when you have a name and you have something to lose, you're going to be more strategic. The same things that Triple G accused Miguel Cotto of and Sergio Martinez and other guys when Triple G was on the come up and he was looking for a shot and Miguel Cotto was like, hell no. Canelo initially was like, hell no. Sergio Martinez, Triple G was Sergio Martinez mandatory for years. And Sergio Martinez was like, hell no. And it wasn't ducking. It was just like too much risk, too little reward. It is what it is in boxing. We don't like it, but that's the way these fighters and these managers is moving. Like, yes, it's a sport, but yes, it's a business for them as well. So we have to walk that fine line in between it as fans in terms of understanding what's ducking and what's them just making the best business move. You know what I'm saying? And this has been done throughout history, so this is not anything brand new. I might do a separate video on something like that. I think that'll be interesting. But, Danny Jacobs defeated the guy that Triple G was supposed to face. Whether you want to say Triple G ducked him or not, Danny Jacobs beat this guy. So now sky's the limit for Danny Jacobs. Under unusual circumstances, he won this IBF title when nobody's really giving him big time props for it, for the circumstances. You understand what I'm saying? So Danny Jacobs, he could fight Jamal Charlo. He could fight Demetrius Andrade. He could go over to DAZN and fight Canelo Alvarez, which would be a great fight. A lot of people think Canelo Alvarez is going to face 11 bums. You're not going to fight 11 guys for, $365 million and they all bums. Trust me, DAZN is trying to recoup their money, so they're going to want Canelo to fight a Triple G or Danny Jacobs or somebody that's going to bring some revenue and some eyes in to not only that fight, but to DAZN, the app, and subscribe. So Danny Jacobs got a lot going for himself right now. Sky's the limit for Danny Jacobs. Not only is he guys at 160, but his guys at 154 that's probably going to come up to 160 as well, like a Jared Hurd. Jared Hurd is a big 154 pounder. Landy Lara, that's another 154 pounder is probably going to come up to 160. I mean, those are fights for Danny Jacobs as well down the line. So big shout out to Danny Jacobs, man. That was a big victory for him. And a lot of people think that Danny Jacobs beat Triple G. So you could argue that Danny Jacobs is the best 160 pounder in the world if you really want to argue it. But we might have to get into that in another video too. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. G5 Jeff TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please share this video, support your boy. Support good content at all times. I appreciate y'all. Peace.